That black stain on your bathroom ceiling? It probably isn't gone. Even if you cleaned it yesterday. Even if the dark color disappeared completely. Because mold almost never starts where people think it does. And that's why it keeps coming back. And again. And again. Most homeowners believe mold is a surface problem. Something you wipe away. Spray once. Forget about. But mold doesn't survive because it's visible. It survives because the environment keeps feeding it. That's the hidden part. And once you understand that, the entire problem starts making sense. Now here's what usually happens. A small dark spot appears near the shower. Maybe around a vent. Near the ceiling. First, it looks harmless. Just moisture. Old paint maybe. So people spray bleach on it. The black color disappears. Problem solved. A few weeks later, the stain comes back. Sometimes larger. Sometimes darker. And that's where people get frustrated. Because they think the mold survived the cleaner. But the real problem was never the cleaner. It was the moisture. Now here's where things get interesting. Bathrooms create almost perfect conditions for mold growth. Warm air, steam, condensation, weak airflow, repeated moisture, especially after hot showers. Every single day, the room fills with humidity. Walls absorb it. Ceilings absorb it. Corners trap it. And if that moisture doesn't escape fast enough, microscopic mold spores begin attaching themselves everywhere. That's the scary part. Mold spores already exist in most homes, floating invisibly through the air, waiting for moisture. That's all they need. Now here's where this $1 kitchen trick becomes powerful. Not because it magically destroys every mold spore forever, because it changes the environment mold depends on. That's the secret. And one simple kitchen ingredient became surprisingly effective for exactly that reason. White vinegar. Simple. Already sitting inside millions of kitchens right now. Now here's something most people never realize. Bleach often removes mold color better than mold itself, especially on porous surfaces. That's why mold can appear dead, then quietly return later underneath the surface. But vinegar works differently. Because mold struggles in acidic environments. Researchers studying household mold found that vinegar can kill large percentages of common mold species on exposed surfaces. Not magic. Chemistry. That's the mechanism. Now think about this. Before expensive mold sprays filled store shelves, people already used vinegar-based cleaning solutions inside humid rooms, farmhouses, laundry rooms, cellars, bathrooms, old kitchens. Because older generations understood something modern advertising rarely talks about. Moisture control matters more than surface appearance. Huge difference. Now imagine two bathrooms. Same house. Same family. Same cleaning routine. But one dries quickly after showers, and the other traps steam for hours. The second bathroom almost always develops mold faster. Not because it's dirtier, because moisture stayed trapped longer. Now here's where most people accidentally make the problem worse. They close the bathroom door immediately after showering. Steam stays trapped inside. Warm, humid air covers every surface. Ceilings stay damp. Corners stay wet. And mold spores quietly begin spreading. Now imagine instead. The room dries quickly. Air moves continuously. Humidity escapes. Surfaces stay dry. The environment changes completely. That's what interrupts mold growth most effectively. Not expensive branding. Environmental control. Now here's where vinegar became surprisingly useful historically. People used it for surface cleaning, odor control, mineral removal, even fungal growth management. Because vinegar changes surface conditions quickly, especially on bathroom tile, glass, sealed surfaces, and painted areas exposed to repeated moisture. Now here's the crazy part. Some bathrooms never fully dry at all, especially poorly ventilated ones. Steam collects daily. Condensation forms repeatedly. Humidity lingers for hours. And over time, the entire room slowly becomes a mold-friendly environment. Now think about how many bathrooms feel damp long after showers end. fog mirrors, warm walls, heavy air. That moisture doesn't disappear instantly. It settles into paint, into drywall, into corners, into tiny invisible pores. Exactly where mold wants it. Now here's another hidden issue. Bathroom ceilings. Especially upstairs bathrooms. Because attic heat warms ceiling surfaces differently during summer. Warm humid air rises after showers, then condenses against cooler areas repeatedly. Tiny moisture cycles happen over and over, day after day, week after week. That's why mold often appears near upper corners first. Now here's where airflow becomes incredibly important. Mold struggles in dry moving air. That's why older homes sometimes developed less visible mold despite lacking modern materials. Because older houses breathed more naturally. Cross ventilation, air movement. Modern homes often trap humidity far more aggressively. Now here's another mistake people make. Painting over mold, temporarily hiding the stain, while moisture and fungal growth continue underneath. That's why mold often comes back through paint. It never actually left. Now imagine cleaning the surface, but changing nothing else. Same humidity, same poor airflow, same trapped steam. The mold simply returns later because the environment stayed active. That's the real issue. Now here's where this simple kitchen trick actually works best. Early stage mold growth. Small patches. Humidity-prone corners. Regular bathroom maintenance. Interrupting conditions before deeper spread happens. That's the hidden advantage. Now here's another thing most people overlook. Shower curtains, wet towels, bath mitts, all releasing moisture into enclosed air for hours. Especially in bathrooms with weak ventilation. Everything contributes together. Now think about this. Every hot shower turns the bathroom into a temporary steam chamber. And if that steam doesn't escape quickly, moisture settles onto every nearby surface. Exactly what mold needs. Now here's where vinegar works differently than many harsh cleaners. It doesn't just target appearance. Its acidity disrupts many mold species directly on exposed surfaces, especially when applied consistently during early growth stages. Simple chemistry, not hype. Now here's another strange thing. Many homeowners lower bathroom humidity accidentally just by improving airflow, leaving doors open, running ventilation fans longer, using circulating air, and suddenly, mold growth slows dramatically because moisture stopped lingering. Now here's where modern construction created new problems. Homes became tighter, more sealed, more insulated. Great for efficiency, terrible for trapped humidity. Especially in bathrooms. Now imagine warm, moist air trapped repeatedly inside sealed rooms every day for years. The environment slowly changes. Surfaces remain damp longer. Spores spread easier. And mold quietly expands behind paint or caulking over time. Now here's another hidden issue. Condensation around bathroom windows. Tiny water droplets forming repeatedly during temperature differences. Moisture cycling continuously. That's another common mold trigger. Now think about how many homeowners treat mold like a cleaning issue only. Wipe, repeat, without ever changing humidity itself. That's why the problem keeps returning. Now here's where old homeowners become fascinating again. Many older generations obsessed over dryness inside bathrooms and utility areas. Open windows, airflow, dry towels, ventilation habits. Because before advanced climate control systems existed, people understood trapped moisture created problems fast. Not just mold, odor, peeling paint, even structural damage over time. Everything linked back to humidity. Now here's another reason vinegar became so common historically. It was cheap, accessible, and impossible to patent into a billion-dollar specialty product. That matters more than people realize. Because modern mold industries profit heavily from repeat treatment, recurring sprays, recurring services, recurring fear. But environmental prevention? That's harder to monetize. Now here's another hidden truth. Bathrooms with poor airflow often smell different before visible mold even appears. That stale, damp smell? Usually microscopic moisture buildup already happening. The mold simply hasn't become visible yet. Now imagine reducing that moisture early. The entire room changes. Air feels lighter, drier, cleaner. That alone slows mold dramatically. Now here's another thing researchers discovered during indoor air studies. Homes with repeated mold problems often had persistent humidity imbalance. Not dirt. Humidity. That's the pattern. Now think about how often people leave bathroom fans off, or run them for only a few minutes. Meanwhile, steam remains trapped much longer than expected, especially during humid summers. Now here's where this kitchen trick becomes powerful psychologically too, because it shifts focus away from panic and toward environment control. That's the smarter battle. Not just killing visible spots repeatedly, changing conditions so growth struggles to return. Now imagine walking into your bathroom after a shower, and instead of heavy damp air, the room dries quickly. Mirrors clear faster. Walls stay dry. Corners stop developing dark patches repeatedly. That difference matters enormously. Now here's another hidden issue. Many bathroom ceilings use paint that absorbs microscopic moisture over time, especially cheaper paint. And once moisture remains trapped repeatedly, mold spores begin attaching underneath surface layers. The environment matters more than people realize. Now here's where baking soda sometimes gets combined with vinegar. Not because the dramatic fizz kills mold magically, because baking soda helps absorb odor and residual moisture while gently cleaning surfaces. Different role. Same environmental strategy. Now think about how strange this really is. Millions of homeowners repeatedly spray powerful chemicals onto mold, while leaving the bathroom humidity completely unchanged. Then wonder why the stains return. The surface changed. The environment didn't. That's the hidden difference. Now here's another thing people rarely notice. Mold often grows fastest in areas with stagnant air. Behind cabinets, upper corners, behind toilets, near ceilings, places airflow barely reaches. Movement matters. Dry moving air interrupts growth dramatically. Now imagine improving airflow, reducing humidity, and treating early-stage growth consistently. The entire cycle changes. Now here's the ironic part. Human beings controlled bathroom moisture long before modern anti-mold industries existed. Ventilation, drying habits, acidic cleaning, airflow, simple systems. But modern homeowners became conditioned to think every problem needs expensive specialty chemicals. Now here's another hidden reason mold feels impossible sometimes. People wait too long. Tiny spots become colonies. Colonies spread deeper into porous surfaces. And eventually, surface cleaning alone stops being enough. That's why early action matters enormously. Now here's another important truth. Large mold infestations require serious remediation. Leaks inside walls, deep structural spread, heavy contamination. Those situations go far beyond kitchen tricks. But small recurring bathroom mold? That's often an environment problem first. And once the environment changes, everything changes with it. Now imagine this. You walk into your bathroom weeks later, and the ceiling corners still look clean. No dark spots returning. No stale damp smell. No constant battle against the same patch every month. The room feels dry, balanced, fresh. That's the real goal. Not temporary hiding. Environmental control. Now here's the truth most homeowners never hear. Mold usually doesn't return because cleaners failed. It returns because moisture stayed trapped. That's the real cause. And once humidity stops feeding the environment, the entire problem changes. 'Cause sometimes, the smartest fix isn't expensive. It's simple, consistent, and already sitting inside your kitchen cabinet.